As a recognized leader in embedded analytics, Yellowfin has been designed and built to enable you to embed amazing analytical experiences into your software. From a highly integrated dashboard module and self-service reporting, to enabling best practice integration that blurs the lines between analytics and your application and workflows. Modernize your reporting environment with Yellowfin to ensure your customers engage with your data, discover insights faster through automation, and innovate with contextualized analytics.
Thanks for tuning in to the Product-Led Festival. We really hope you're enjoying the summit so far because we've got even more insights heading your way. All sessions are designed to be interactive and give you the chance to engage with our panelists, so come ready to get involved with your questions and comments. For all things PLG, don't forget to check on the PLA memberships at productledalliance.com. Sit back and enjoy the next session. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Product-Led Festival. Thanks for tuning in. I'm pleased to welcome our next speaker, Penelope Madry.
Hello.
Here she is.
Hello.
I'll hand over to you, Penelope.
Thank you so much, Caitlin.
No worries.
Hello, it's great to see all of you here at the Product-Led Festival. My name is Penelope Madry, and I work at American Express. I'm here to talk a little bit about what's the difference between a platform and a customer-focused product manager. And really, it's the difference between a platform and an end-user-focused product manager. As product managers, we all, of course, care about the customer. The question is, in our roles as product managers, how does a system support, impact the skills that we need to be successful? So I'm bringing my experience and thoughts to that question. So moving to the next slide, a little bit about me. So I lead the acquisition product and services strategy team at American Express. Anyone applying for a credit card, a loan, a savings account, or some other American Express product will apply for that product on my team's systems. So as you can imagine, we're very busy and we're very popular. But I have nearly 20 years of experience across financial services and the nonprofit world. And so I drew on all of that experience for today's presentation. So the question is, why does it matter? What is the difference between an end user focused product manager and a platform product manager? And it matters because there are different types of product managers and different skill sets to be successful. And the types of problems that they try to solve are different. So that impacts how they spend their day and what their priorities are. Now, I'm only going to talk about the different skill sets needed between digital end user and digital platform. But there can be a lot of differences in a product manager's role driven by the type of organization you work for. They might define product management slightly more marketing versus technical, or it might be all of the above. And it could be that you build a system that is for just your enterprise, or it could be something that gets sold externally. So those things also impact the skill sets of a product manager, but I'm just going to focus on the difference between end user focused product management and platform product management and the skill sets for those. So when we think about these two roles, the key things that we need to think about are, who do you advocate for? What skills do you need? And what outcomes are you trying to drive? Those are the things that are going to help guide what each role is like and what are the differences. So let's start with the end user focused product manager. Who do they advocate for? Well, they advocate for that end user. They are immersed and completely expert in that user's experience, their challenges, their needs, the problems that they're trying to solve. Now that middle column are common product manager skill sets that pretty much every product manager needs. And that includes being an excellent communicator, someone who loves data, and being empathetic to the user. And so the unique skills that an end user focused product manager needs is experience-driven product management, UX, UI. Those are the skills that are just so critical to being successful in that role. Now, in a previous role, I managed a system that was used to capture teacher evaluation. It was a simple tool, very end user focused product management. And so a consultant or a principal would go into a classroom, they would observe a teacher teaching a lesson, and they would capture some key details along specific skill sets that they were observing. And one important aspect of that particular user's experience was that Wi-Fi in public schools is notoriously bad and not very reliable. And so a key piece of functionality that this system had to have was that they needed the ability to capture observations offline and then have that sync up back when they were able to connect to Wi-Fi. So that's an example of being really deeply embedded in the user's experience and how critical it is to being successful in that particular type of role. So when it comes to defining what is important to know or to do as a platform product manager, it kind of begs the question, well, how do you define platform? If we talk about the sort of standard, pure technical definition of a platform, it is the first definition on the slide, which is it's a software system that enables other teams or companies to build applications on top of it to support their users. So a perfect example is an operating system. That is a platform. Another good example is like Salesforce. That is definitely a platform. However, in my experience and in podcasts and articles, the use of the word platform is pretty ubiquitous, and it describes so much more than just that first definition. So I tried to kind of summarize it into two other types of platforms for the purposes of this conversation. The second definition is a software system that enables people to build a business. An example would be software as a service. The third definition is a system that facilitates communications or transactions. For example, Airbnb, or another example would be a trade order management system for trading stocks on the stock market. So these are all different examples of platforms that we're going to kind of delve into and take a look at the different role of product manager in these different scenarios. So the first one, the first definition, the pure definition, that platform product manager advocates for product managers, engineers, and QA. That's who their users are, and that's who they want to see be successful. They're expert in how those teams want to use the platform. They're expert in the domains that the apps that they're building are representing. They're knowledgeable about the roadmaps and needs of this group of people. And this group of people, the product managers, engineers, QA, they could be internal to your organization, or they could be external. And then the middle is, again, those same common set of product manager skills that all product managers need. And then the unique skills on the right shows that these people need to balance the needs of the product managers, engineers building on their platform with their own platform's strategic goals. They need a technical understanding of how the platform supports the apps built on it. They need a deep understanding of APIs and SLAs and availability. If the apps are being built by teams external to their company, they need to think about how to support their development and testing. Do they need to offer a sandbox environment, for example? They also need to identify trends and commonalities across multiple product managers' roadmaps and backlogs. They need to bring a product mindset to APIs. For example, how to reduce the number of APIs their customers use and how to make it easier to use them. And they're also constantly thinking about flexibility and scalability. So if we take a look at the diagram on the next slide, which is so beautiful, you can see that the platform product manager, they're represented by that blue bar. That's their platform. The navy bar is their platform and their domain. And they're trying to support the customer-focused product managers that are working with the apps built on top of the platform, represented by the red, yellow, and green boxes. And then the users for each individual app is above. And so you can see that. And so you can see that the platform product manager definitely wants to understand how the platform impacts the end user's experience, the end customer's experience. That is obviously important, but their key stakeholders, the key people that they're trying to support are the customer-focused product managers, and those customer-focused product managers are deep in the experience of those end users and customers. One of the systems that I currently lead is a platform that is aspiring to this model. We're not quite there yet, but we do have a platform with a common set of capabilities that supports the apps that are built on it. And for the purposes of the work that I do, we call those user journeys. So an example of a user journey that could be built on our platform would be a US consumer card journey, or a Canada loans journey, or a small business card journey. Each of these will leverage similar capabilities, standard capabilities that exist on the platform, possibly in slightly different ways. And each of them will have some differences that are very unique to their journeys. And those differences can be driven by a lot of different factors, one of which is common is a regulatory landscape in the market. It could be contractual commitments with our partners. So all of this drives the need for flexibility, configurability, scalability. And so people on my team create and are constantly using business flows, data flows, architectural diagrams to articulate requirements and how the system impacts the customer's experience. So let's talk about the next type of platform. This next type is a platform to build a business. So the product manager for this platform is expert in how the business will use the platform to advance their goals and strategy. They're also expert in the business's users' needs and their domains. So it's really important for this type of product manager to understand the industry trends that could impact their platform, balance the needs of the businesses, the administrative users of those businesses, that business's customers, and their platform's own strategic goals. So a lot going on, a lot of balls to juggle there. Technical understanding of how the platform supports the business, they definitely need that. They need to identify common capabilities that can support all businesses. For example, multi-tenancy might be something that is needed in the platform to support all businesses. And then these people can be required to be experience-driven in UX, UI. So they are definitely thinking about that business user's experience and their needs. So if we go to the next slide, you can see, again, this diagram for software as a service platform. So this is modeled after a system that I worked with in a previous role. The navy is the platform. The green, yellow, and pink boxes are the multi-tenancies. So what that meant is that each business or each organization would have their own URL, their own branding, their own look and feel. Lots of the system was configurable, so they could configure it to their own unique requirements and needs. And so that their users would come to the platform and experience it through that business's look, feel, experience. And so this particular system was supporting programs that tried to recruit people to become teachers in a school district or in a charter network. And so they had their different brandings, like I said. They also, because they were in different states in the United States, they also had different regulatory requirements around who could become a teacher. And so this system needed to be configurable and flexible enough to accommodate all those different requirements. And so configurability and flexibility and putting that in the hands of the business administrative users was critical to the success of the overall platform. And so the last type of platform that I'm going to talk about is the type of platform to enable parties to transact or connect. Now, this type of product manager advocates for the people on each side of that transaction. They're expert in each party's needs and experiences. They're also expert in each step of the transaction process and all the needs and additional services that could be provided to support that transactional process. This product manager's unique skill set is they are always looking to make the transaction more efficient. They are trying to identify industry trends that could impact their platform. They are also very experience driven. UX, UI driven is very important to this type of platform product manager. And so in this diagram, you can see that in this world, they are responsible for the end user's experience. They're responsible for connecting these different types of users, and this platform is facilitating that connection. And as you can tell, that obviously, like I said, they're very deep in the user's experience. So UX, UI is super important. And this type of platform can be illustrated by example, Airbnb or a trading system that connects buyers and sellers. This is one type of platform that I have not worked with, but I've certainly used, as I'm sure many of you have as well. So my diagrams were simplistic, and depending on the size of your organization, they could become much more complex. And as technology and business models evolve, so will product managers' roles and organizations and specializations. So I greatly appreciate your time and attention, and I would love to make this more of an open conversation. So I welcome any and all conversation or comments or questions.
Hi everyone. Thank you for that, Penelope. That was a great talk. If anyone's got any questions, please pop them in the chat box now. You can also connect with Penelope via the link in the top of the chat to get to her LinkedIn profile. Yeah, that was really interesting. We'll just wait a couple of minutes to get people's thoughts together. Hopefully they'll drop in a few questions for us.
Yes, I hope so. There's people from all over the world, it seems like.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, we've got one here from B who says, how do platform product managers and customer-centric PMs work together?
It's an excellent question, and it's something that my team definitely thinks about and invests time and energy and resources into all the time. So in our team and in our organization, we are constantly trying to find that balance of building the right things on the platform that add the most value, that add the most value for the most people across the platform, as well as those things that are just must-haves because it's contractually driven or it's a specific, unique strategic opportunity. So we're trying to balance that with not becoming a bottleneck for those customer-centric PMs who are trying to just constantly deliver value, deliver new and great things for their business partners. And so it's constantly a balance between ensuring that we're enabling them to move faster, enabling them to meet their goals while not being a bottleneck, and while ensuring that we're delivering consistent value for as many people as we can.
Great. We've got one from Julia who asks, what kind of tools do you use to create alignment and drive UX for platform products? Is there such a thing as customer journey for platforms, or do you have a journey per?
So we absolutely do. All we talk about is customer journeys where I work. That's all we talk about. And we use a variety of tools. I mean, we use some of the easy tools that are at hand, like Confluence, Glyphy for creating flows. We absolutely use that. For the UX, UI part, We have UX UI designers who will create that journey, and then that journey will then map to a flow of all the different systems that get engaged with a particular customer journey. Just to kind of give you a little bit of context, with what I work on, when somebody applies for a credit card at American Express, they are interfacing with that, customer UX UI. Great. They provide their information, their name, their address, etc. That comes down to the platform system that then calls out to a number of systems, probably 20 different systems, to decide, okay, does American Express know this person? Is this a duplicate application? Do we want to give this person an American Express credit card? And we compile all that information to get a decision and send that back up to the UI within 15 to 20 seconds. And then if the answer is yes, we do want to give Caitlin a credit card, then we take that information and send it down to all the other systems, so 50 odd systems that need that information in order to onboard Caitlin as a new card member and make sure she gets bills and make sure her card is authorized to be made for transactions. So there's lots of different pieces that need to be integrated. And so lots of different product managers involved in that journey.
Nice. Thank you for that answer. We've got one from Kelly here who says, what are some ways the product roadmaps differ between platform and customer centric? Do you use a different strategy on assigning milestones, releases, groupings of features, and prioritization?
Yes. So when we're thinking about our roadmap, we are trying to identify the different apps on our system, what their roadmaps are, and what are some big bets or big plays that we could do to drive value for as many of those apps as possible, or for some of those key strategic ones that would add just some big value. So really looking at the value we're trying to drive. And so our roadmap can be a little bit longer term than an app's roadmap. So an app roadmap, they might be thinking, 3 to 6 months ahead. They might be even thinking 12 months ahead, but most likely that's going to change and evolve over time. But a platform roadmap, because we're looking at all those apps, different roadmaps and their big bets, we're going to be trying to deliver before they need it. So it's that capability is there and ready for when they want to deliver. So our roadmaps tend to be a little bit longer term than an app's roadmaps.
Great, thank you. We've got quite a lengthy question here from Eric, I think, excuse my pronunciation, who says, what is the right balance between offering safe, compliant and reusable platform capabilities versus owning the enforcement of improper use of the capabilities? Like Hertz Rent-A-Car offers safe cars, but does not require a person to pass a breathalyzer test to turn on the ignition. He says that they're getting asks to invest more capacity into preventing non-standard use of capabilities.
Great question. And so obviously American Express doesn't rent cars, but I can absolutely relate to that use case in that banking, American Express is a bank, it's heavily regulated. And so we absolutely do care about doing things the right way and doing the right things for our customers. So for us, those regulatory requirements, we take those very seriously, and we invest a lot of time and energy in those. It is something that we invest a lot in on the platform side, and it is always something that is evolving, and we're learning about as regulations change, as people abuse those regulations. It's always something that is. It's always something that's on the roadmap, in my opinion. It's not something that's like, oh, once in a while we'll spend a little extra capacity on regulation. Like, it's always something that we're absolutely focused on and dedicating resources to. And I think that in order to ensure that your customers have a great experience, it's important to give them guardrails to kind of do that on the product. And so I think that the platform definitely plays a role in that, but also depending on the user and their journey, it also is the responsibility of the app owner as well.
Great, thank you. We've got another question from Diego here, who's asking about frameworks. He says, are they also different? Is there a correct framework for each scenario?
I'm not sure what the use of the word framework means specifically in that example, but when at American Express, we have a specific framework when we think about a user experience and a user journey. And it usually involves how they interact with our systems, how that data then flows through our systems, what systems need to be involved in delivering a decision or getting that applicant to the next step, or getting them information about where they are. And so we kind of use this, if this is what the question is referring to, we use this sort of diagram where we have swim lanes that refer to systems, and then we have a business flow that shows how the data or how the user's information is making the journey through those systems to get them back an answer or some information. So we use that a lot. But in I've worked at places that were smaller that absolutely shunned workflow diagrams. They did not want any part of that because that was not agile. And that's fine. Every organization is going to have their culture, and you try things out and see what fits for your organization.
Great. Thank you. We've also got a question from Devon, who has asked how to determine if you should invest more heavily on the platform side or on the customer side, for example, staffing teams.
Yes. So absolutely makes sense. So we, my team and I, we've been challenged by that also. So again, it comes back to that question of, okay, well, we want to have really solid governance. We want to have really great platform capabilities. We want to have a global platform so that each app can just use these capabilities and move really quickly. But at the same time, we don't want to be a bottleneck. We don't want all these apps to be waiting for platform to deliver. So that has been a challenge of, do we have a thin platform team that's relatively small and sort of enable the apps to do a lot of the development themselves? The downside of that is there's less governance in that model, less control. Or do we have larger platform teams, smaller app teams, more governance, but perhaps there's a bottleneck? And so I think it's finding the right balance for your organization. I think that it also comes back to the industry and the types of problems you're trying to solve. So for example, with that Hertz example, it could be that maybe abusers or maybe issues like that are coming up more frequently, costing the business more money, or bad press, negative impacts to the brand. And so it's decided, you know what, we need greater governance, we need greater controls. And so there's a move to more platform. And it could be that once you overcome some of those challenges, you don't need that anymore, and you can move to maybe more on the application side. So I think it really does come down to the challenges and the problems that you're trying to solve.
Nice, thank you. I think we've got time to squeeze one more question in. We've got a question from Gal, who asks, what are the common pitfalls to avoid as a platform PM?
So I think that one of the pitfalls is that, yes, we all absolutely care about the customer 100%. But as a platform PM, you can't become so obsessed with the customer and forget about your product managers and your engineers. Because ultimately, those app product managers, they got the customer. They got that. Yes, we absolutely need to know how the platform is impacting them, but we need to be really focused on how do we make the engineers using our platform, how do we make their lives easier? How do we make them move faster? Because if we can solve their problems, we make our platform much more scalable in the long run. Whereas if we're all focused on the end user, no one's focused on scaling the platform, making it flexible, making it configurable, making it global. So that's why that division of labor works and enables growth.
Thanks, Penelope. We've got quite a few more questions in the chat, which we're unfortunately not going to have time to get to all of them. But am I right in saying that people can connect with you and fire any questions over there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been wonderful speaking here and meeting with you, Caitlin, and meeting with all of you virtually. I really appreciate your time and attention today. And I hope you have a great rest of your day at the Product Led Festival.
Well, thank you so much, Penelope. It was a great talk, and I can definitely tell that our audience very much enjoyed that from all the questions. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. We've got our next talk up in 15 minutes time. So we shall see you all later. Thanks again, Penelope.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.